And I don't think the chamber fully understands that. And so ultimately, you know, I don't know when America became, I'm on board, pull up the ladder. I'm on board, I couldn't care. What happens to my community? You know, we're fighting like idiots for this model American community. And I just don't know what happened to America. I don't know what happened to America. I really don't. That when we just passively sit here and are not all outraged at this egregious behavior. What'd you tell him, Goldie?
I said government does nothing for the people. They don't care about that. They live, and if it's in their...
There you go. That's what I'm talking about, Goldie.
They live more.
Okay, that being said, this is a defensive motion. I think what we're doing here, and just correct me wrong, Mr. Markowitz and Mr. Noto. So we're going to just enter into a contract that if we need to use the appraisal companies for valuation plus and lane appraisals on these three items, we have them in our pockets ready to go. They are engaged.
If we can employ the same supervisor,
the supervisor
until we get
is able to negotiate a fair settlement and we don't need to go into our pockets for this, then I suggest we do it.
Great. Can I get an approval, motion to approve the valuation people on that basis?
DH and I.
So moved.
DH and I. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So, Mr. Markowitz, we set up phone calls with each of these people in the next couple of days. Mm-hmm. And let's see if we can avoid having to use our people.
Perfect.
And just the last point, again, if we've got a good faith, if you're acting in good faith and we've got it wrong, tell us. But don't scam the system. Okay, sorry, caretaker position.
Why don't we do K and L? I'll make those stand
okay, perfect.
Get them really along.
So these are
these are matters that are now on the calendar. They are now ripe for judicial resolution. You can see one is Sagamore Fund. It's 3 years, 9, 10, 11. The other is 211-217 Westchester Avenue. It has an 07 index number, but that's the only case that we have. So it's for 1 year. Both are on the court calendar, so they both need to have counsel assigned.
Well, again, let me ask you, when we signed counsel, how does it work in terms of if we make our phone calls and they say...
You can still make your phone calls. At this point, they just answer the court calendar and they participate in the scheduling conferences, which means these are probably a year away from where we'd be having this conversation about appraisers next year on these cases.
It's a year between the time when...
It could be as long as a year, yeah.
Great. Can we get a motion?
I got a quick question here. The Sagamore Fund, what is the address of that?
Sagamore Farm.
Is that the
North
apartments?
Regent Street? It's the apartment complex.
That's the old Regent Garden Apartments?
Correct. 72 units of rental.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have these prepared for those other two properties?
They're the last two pages. They're on there.
Okay. And then 211, 217 Westchester Avenue. You have 101.
101 to 110. It is a two-story retail building with offices above it, corner of Westchester Avenue and King Street. Right at the kind of this. It's
No, Westchester and King they don't come together.
Well, they do right at Westchester Avenue. They form sort of a triangle.
Oh, okay. I know exactly where you are.
Right.
Stop one Marcus over there.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay, very good.
Because this is where King Street.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolutions L and K.
Second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, resolution J. Councilwoman Mendocino, Deputy Supervisor Ivanova.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, well, Billy, Bishop, and myself spent a lot of time interviewing many candidates for this position, and we did have several that were quite well qualified for the position. It was nice to see. And it was a hard decision, but we went through what we thought would be best for the services of the town, and we decided on George Hogben. Is that how you say his name correctly? Okay. And we have the resolution in front of you. He, do you want me to tell about the gentleman, or is that private? I don't...
Well, I think you could share with, our experiences with him.
He has worked in this sort of realm before in working at the Boy Scout house, so he knows how to, what's going on and how to maintain property maintenance. He is involved in the fire department in Rye, so he has works with the municipalities. We've done background checks on him, and has a nice clean record, and he has a very calm disposition.
Beautiful.
One thing that actually the first thing that I was looking for, and Michelle just touched on that, his demeanor, the way that he carries himself, and I feel that the way that he's going to interact with the public on our behalf will be a great improvement for that position. And I look forward to hearing the feedback and seeing how he interacts and represents us as the caretaker. And I echo everything Michelle said.
What, are we confident he can perform the 20 hours a week of work per week that is required here?
I see no reason why he wouldn't.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Great. So just so everybody knows, so we're providing a usage of the caretaker cottage in exchange for 20 hours of work. And I can't thank Councilwoman Mendocino and Deputy Supervisor Luna for spending lots and lots of hours. How many candidates did you interview?
16? No.
16?
10.
Was it? We had more than that, and then some people just pulled
We
out.
screened some applications, but
Right.
we actually called 10 people in.
How many applications do we have?
Excuse me?
16 applications?
I'm not sure
Well,
exactly.
16 more or less, and 10 interviews, so
Wait,
that's a lot of time and effort.
And then we
so I appreciate it.
re-interviewed the last
Last three.
3 or 4
Three or
again.
four. Great. Well, listen, I can't thank you enough. That's a lot of hard work.
I just wanted to say, in the draft letter that you wrote, can we change that 90-day to 60-day termination? I mean, I think...
It's also 90 days, you left out the days.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'll yield to whatever you want.
Yeah, 60. Yeah, 60.
60?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, 60, it's tough to get a new place in 60 days, it's all, but okay.
Well, a minimum of 60, we're saying. We don't have to...
Okay.
Good. Can I get a motion to approve this resolution as modified?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Again, thank you, Councilwoman Mendocino. Thank you, Deputy Supervisor Luna, for all the hard work on that. I thought we were going to talk tonight about usage at the park, no?
I think we can put that on to add that. I'd like to make a motion that we put on the discussion item the Crawford Park usage.
Okay. Second?
I'm sorry, we were...
Sorry, I apologize.
We were
Yeah.
discussing the letter, sorry.
I saw a lot of email traffic, and I thought we had reached a consensus on Crawford Park usage policy.
Okay,
So I wanted to add that to tonight's agenda, if that would be possible. So,
sure.
Okay, Deputy Supervisor made a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I don't think that person outside...
I think he's disagreeing with my Crawford review.
I think he's got that outrage you were talking about.
Finally!
There's that
He's
passion.
upset about...
Are you picking that up, Tom?
He's going over to Wachovia right now.
The carbon plant. There we go. Okay, who wants to summarize the Crawford Park usage policy?
Well, there's a couple items that I'd like to bring up for discussion.
Right.
One addition that I think would be appropriate for the policy would be to, maybe we should shut these windows. One addition that I think we should make for the policy is with regards to people that are renting the facility that originally say that they are not going to be using alcohol at their event and then bring alcohol in for consumption. I think that 4 things should happen to those events. Number 1, they immediately lose their deposit. Number 2, they lose the fees that they paid to use the facility. They lose the privilege to rent in the future. And number 4, their event is closed by the police department immediately. This is how strong I think we need to be on this policy. And I think through the enforcement of our new event coordinators and us being vigilant with maintaining that facility, obviously this is a discussion item. If the board wants, I could put this together as a resolution for next month's meeting so we can add it to the policy.
I think we can pretty much understand it. I think why don't we discuss this first item here, so that basically when you rent Crawford Park, you need to establish whether you're intending to use alcohol or not. If you do, I think you have to pay $100 additional. Is that it? And you bring a policeman on board.
Alcohol permit fee.
Alcohol permit fee, and then
There's a requirement, either you provide host liquor liability insurance, or you have to hire a Rybrook police officer for a 4-hour period.
right. So then you have to. So there's two impacts of ultimately wanting to consume alcohol. You have to, one, pay a $100 alcohol permit fee, and two, you either have to hire a Rybrook police person or get insurance. Okay. So ultimately, if people then lie to us ultimately, right?
Yeah.
Say they're going to not use alcohol, then they do. Your proposal then is that they lose their deposit, lose whatever fees they paid, that they be prohibited from forever?
rental. Yeah.
Forever?
Full use.
Okay, full use. And then, sorry, what was the last one?
And then the event gets closed down by the police immediately.
Oh, and then, yeah, exactly. Okay, any thoughts, comments?
Forever's a long time.
You're right.
5 years.
And
maybe
you know,
5 years.
you know something?
But sometimes the
5
person
years.
that's holding the party isn't always responsible for the people that are bringing in the liquor.
But
so it's hard to-
therein lies part of my
revisit
concern
whether-
is that if you're hosting that party, you need to be responsible.
I agree,
Yeah.
but forever is a long time.
Yeah, it is. You know what, Michelle? It is, but I think...
All right, well, hold on. Let's just.
All
So
right.
we got.
What do you
I think I'm hearing a couple of 5 years over here.
Yeah.
What about Councilman Ewers?
I think 5 years sounds reasonable.
Okay.
I mean, forever is...
All right. So are you happy to propose that we do this as it is amended?
We can go for 5 years and
We can revisit it.
When you're reelected town supervisor, you can
Yeah.
put
Well,
it back in.
we'll see. Very good. So if you feel comfortable going forward and everybody agrees to 5 years, I'm for it.
Okay, so did you get that, Hope? So if somebody comes forward, tells us they're not going to use alcohol, they do, we will immediately close down the event. They will lose their deposit, they will lose their fee, and they will not be able to use the facility for a period of 5 years.
Perfect.
Okay?
And that should be written in the usage.
Contract
It should
that they-
become part and parcel of the rental agreement.
Correct.
Wonderful. Great. Good. Okay, can I get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay, good.
And then I think we should also discuss the non-for-profit policy. Now, we've discussed this now for the better part of a couple of years, and I think that the reason why it's been difficult to bring resolve is because not that the game changes, but every time that we go down a path and we look to bring resolve, something else pops up. So we keep trying to modify our take on it, but I think that we need to maybe take some baby steps so we can really start to make some traction. So that being said, I know that some people were thinking about the not-for-profit, the flat rate. So I don't know if anybody wants to talk about that.
Well, I think, I know Councilman Ewers, if you had, I saw some emails, if you had some suggestions you wanted to put forward, or?
Well, I thought that, what would be fair is for us to recover our costs of the nonprofits renting the facilities. And so I asked Bishop for some estimates on what it would cost from a variable cost basis. That is, the cost for actually holding that event, not the cost for maintaining the park, because we're going to incur that cost whether or not someone rents it or not. But if we have an event there, they're actually using the park, we need to provide certain services, and that's costing town money. So I figured at a minimum and a flat rate, the non-for-profits could provide that minimum amount of cost that's actually costing us to have that event held at Crawford Park.
And what, do you know what, did you ever be able to come up with that cost numbers, Mr. Nowak?
I put some cost numbers out to the council, I guess about a week ago or so. I don't have that with me.
All right.
It wasn't on the agenda, so I didn't
All
have
right.
it. Didn't have the document here.
All right, well, I think...
Yeah, we can assemble costs. I mean, there are labor costs that are attached because we do have an event coordinator that attends any event that we have there. So right away, we're incurring $100, $115, $120 just for the labor alone. Now, when you start to look at turning the lights on and paper goods and things of that nature, cleaning supplies and whatnot, you're probably up in the $150 to $200 range.
For how many hours is that?
Well, our parties are typically 5 hours. Some are shorter, some are longer.
Right.
But the typical event is about 5 hours or so. Pavilion picnics, outdoor picnics, they have a tendency to be more like 7 or 8 hours because they're basically taking the place for the entire day.
Now, Bishop, one thing that one thing that I think we spoke of in the beginning, and I'm addressing this with you because I know you had a lot of hands-on with regards to the policy, is that I think we all agreed and that this is going to be a living document, that the policy is going to grow as we grow, where we can modify it to protect our interests and ultimately make the park a better place. So that being said, we start, and I think it's good to put something in place sooner rather than later. What I'm hearing between Councilman Nioris and yourself is that, this average number could be a flat rate just to recover costs, $200.
Now, you're just talking about parties. You're not talking about people that come in for
Like a meeting or something.
Right.
No, that would be a totally different thing, and we really haven't addressed that.
So we need a fee structure for that as well.
And one of the things that I wanted to make sure the council understood, we specifically had recommended last month to carve out the municipal uses. Let's not address those right now because there's still a lot more investigation.
All right, so let's in the interest of time, I think what we're proposing is that not-for-profits be able to use the mansion, but they need to pay a $200 fee that covers our costs. Is that
Cost of operations. We don't want the taxpayers who aren't using this to be,
perfect? And I think we're establishing that number is 200. So basically, not-for-profits be able to use, legitimate not-for-profits be able to use it for 200. We had some talk about, trying to have a differential pricing for those in the Model American community. Why don't we simply encourage them to join them rather than insist on that?
So I don't see too many of them not wanting to be a part of.
Right. So when they sign up, let's encourage them, ask them if they wouldn't sign up, fill out the Middle American Community Form, so they can give them all we want to do is put their names in a booklet, so we have a sense of who's there. So we'll just encourage them. We're not going to insist.
Right.
Okay.
And I would ask the council also specifically mention that this discount would only apply to those nonprofit organizations that are housed within the town of Rye.
Absolutely correct.
Okay, so that we're not dealing with people coming out of state and so forth.
No, absolutely correct. And housed in the town of Rye.
Right.
What would we do for someone who wanted to use the pavilion for 1 hour or something? We wouldn't charge them a flat $200.
The current pricing, I think, has a minimum, a 3-hour minimum.
Okay.
Realize that...
So you'll buy by the current minimum price?
Yeah, absolutely.
That is good, Bob.
All right, okay.
I'd imagine our cost of operations must be slightly different for pavilion use versus mansion use.
Well, again, you go back to labor, and just to give you an example, the labor is the same whether it's inside or outside.
What about energy costs, though, or things?
Slightly less, but we do have to have the lights on even in the daytime because the pavilion is dark underneath. We have the bathrooms that are immediately adjacent, so you still need to have paper goods and those kinds of supplies. So the reality is the pricing is almost the same between the two facilities. It's just we have gas, we have air conditioning that runs in the mansion that we don't have in the pavilion.
Right.
Very good.
Beautiful. Can I have a motion to approve the policy as described?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Okay.
One more thing, Mr. Carver. While we're talking, and we don't necessarily need to pull the trigger on this one either,
Right.
but I think we should discuss the intermunicipal use policy for Crawford Park for the parks as well.
Yeah.
Now, that's a little bit different. We have to recover, as we've been discussing, what the labor costs are and what maybe the dry goods and things of that nature. That's part of it. But when we talk about the municipal use, if we're having events, and whether it be summer camp or whether it be softball, soccer, football. We talk about that, well, I guess it is a fixed expense, but there has to be upkeep of the fields more, whether it's,
In the bathrooms
reseeding.
and things like that, the trash.
Yeah, but reseeding the fields,
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Because in the interest of time,
Okay,
can I suggest that the staff come up with a recommendation?
very good.
What municipalities are using it?
April.
Makes them for next meeting.
Very good.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Marcos, anything further?
Yes.
Good. Yep.
I would just like to discuss, for purposes of the taxpayers being informed, the upcoming activities. Okay? On or about April 1, all taxpayers within the town of Rye will be receiving a preliminary notice of their assessment for 2012. That notice will tell them what their proposed assessment will be for June. It will advise them that they have an opportunity, and we encourage them to take advantage of that opportunity to hold informal hearings with the town's valuation vendor, Vision Appraisal. We'll provide a 800 number for which taxpayers can call Vision Appraisal to make appointments to discuss their value. It's by appointment only. Purpose is to provide the public with as much information as we can provide, as well as receive from any taxpayers any information they think that is relevant and pertinent to their particular valuation.
All right, so let's get this right, because so let's just pause for the people at home, because there was a lot of complaints last year when we went through this process. So they're going to receive an appraisal on April 1st.
No, they are going to receive a notice of their proposed value. They are not receiving an appraisal. They're receiving.
Okay, they're going to receive a notice of the proposed assessment.
That's correct.
Okay, and then when do the assessments become final?
The assessments become, I'll answer you by saying they will become tentative on June 1st. They will become final on September 15th.
All right, so okay, when is the grievance period?
The grievance period will commence the third Tuesday in June. Let me back up. The date of grievance will be the third Tuesday in June. We will be accepting grievance applications from the first day of June through the third Tuesday of June. I do not know the precise date off the top.
All right, so that's what I want to understand. So from June 1 to the third Tuesday in June?
That's correct.
People can grieve?
Correct.
Okay. And then you will come back to them with a definitive answer when?
They will receive a definitive answer by letter on or before September 15th.
Okay.
The 19th of June.
So basically, 19th of June, thank you. So ultimately, you have between June 1st and June 19th to grieve. The assessment value you get on or about April 1st.
Correct.
All right.
And there may be, just for the record, there may be changes between the April 1st notice and the June 1st notice.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, for a variety of reasons.
Wait, so there's a second notice that goes out June 1st?
Any changes between the April notice and the June notice, they will receive it in writing.
What if there's no change?
I think we're going to send everybody notices, change or no change.
All right. So, and then when can they meet with Vision Appraisal?
Between about approximately mid-April to early May.
All right. So this is what I want people to understand. This is unusual, correct?
This is highly unusual, and I think it's fair to say the town is going out of their way to provide early advance notice and provide the opportunity for people to tell us why they think we're wrong.
Okay, so you heard me say Mr. Markowitz is aiming to make his department the #1 assessment department in New York State. And we're doing something that very few municipalities do, as I understand that, correct?
Very few.
So we're going to send you your assessment on April 1. There's a lot of noise, a lot of discussion about whether our assessments are right or wrong. We're not going to rest for a second. So every assessment in the town of Rye is absolutely correct. So on April 1st, you're going to get an assessment notice.
On or about, we will mail.
Will we, in the notice, explain to them how they contact Vision Appraisal?
The notice will provide a an 800, a toll-free
Right.
number for them to contact Vision
Right.
Appraisal to schedule a personal appointment
Okay.
with staff from Vision Appraisal.
Okay, so we're going to then, in that notice, invite you, no community does it, invite you to sit down with Vision Appraisal if you have any questions, doubts about your assessment, and discuss with them why you're valued at the value you are.
That is correct.
After that meeting, you will get a second notice on June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And that second notice on appraisal value on June 1st will be the definitive, right?
That will be the fixed number for the tentative assessment roll moving forward. At that point in time,
Right.
the town assessor has no ability to change the value,
Okay,
nor does
right.
Vision Appraisal.
Okay, so June 1st, that's an important date. And could you write a letter to the Westmore News just explaining this process?
Mm-hmm.
So we have it, and we need to get this out as many people as possible. So ultimately, on June 1st, then, you'll receive your second appraisal. It may or may not have changed.
Correct.
You may go to Vision Appraisal and say, oh my goodness, we made a mistake. It may change on June 1st. So it may or may not change. When you get your valuation notice on June 1st, you only have 19 days to grieve.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Please.
One of the issues last year was when they got the second notice that changed, they were not given an opportunity to come in and have an informal.
Right, but there's
I
no
know
way
that-
to provide that.
Well, I mean, then maybe we need to accelerate the second notice time, because I know that a lot of people were upset that it changed,
I understand.
for whatever reason, and then they were basically stuck and couldn't come in and have a conversation about, hey, why did it change, and in some cases a lot, in such a short period of time, in between April and May.
As a practical matter, there is insufficient time under the law to do that. Okay, by the time we have completed informal hearings, it's already mid-May, we are required by law to put out a tentative assessment roll with fixed numbers by June 1. The reality is by the time we fix the numbers, produce the assessment roll, produce the letters, get them into the mail, it's an impossibility, just time-wise. And those timetables are fixed under the law.
So
We're
but your recourse then is, and this is
Go to the
what...
bar.
No, yeah, exactly. So your recourse is to grieve.
Right, but a lot of people don't do that.
Well, I
They don't-
understand, but
yeah.
if you're
You're
going
right,
to take
that
the
is-
trouble, if you're
yeah.
going to take the trouble to go back for a second meeting, you might as well take the trouble to grieve.
Right.
So unfortunately, the way New York State has it set up, there's no time to have a second meeting. But if you don't like the valuation you've got, and you still haven't derived satisfaction, you have 19 days to grieve.
Right.
So you then should file your grievance with the town, which will be taken up not by Mr. Markowitz, but by the Board of Assessment Review, so by a panel of your peers.
Correct. Independent.
Independent panel of your peers. So that you sometime between your filing date, which finishes June 19th, and September, you'll be able to meet with the Board of Assessment Review, and once you've done that, you'll get a determination. If you still don't like your appraisal, you can go to small claims court.
Residential.
Residential. Residential can still go to...
Owner-occupied, 1 and 2
Yeah,
and 3 family.
right. So residential properties can still go to a SCAR. So you have lots of opportunities throughout this process to challenge your assessment if you think we got it wrong. Hopefully, our grievances have been coming down. Hopefully, most people believe they got it right. But at the end of the day, so we'll send the notices out April 1. In the notice, you can have an opportunity to meet with Vision Appraisal, which is highly unusual. You'll have a chance to sit down with them and say, I like my assessment, don't like my assessment. You'll get a new assessment on June 1st.
Or the same assessment.
But you'll get a second assessment, which will be the
You'll get
same.
a notice.
The second notice, which will be the same in value or different in value.
Mm-hmm.
If you still don't like your valuation, grieve. You have 19 days to grieve.
To file the paper.
To file the paperwork, go to the Board of Assessment Review. You'll then go before the Board of Assessment Review. If you still are unhappy, you have a chance to get a SCAR or a residential claim, if you're residential.
Let me distinguish for the public just a couple things. The informal process does not mandate any kind of application, any kind of evidence. It's more of a discussion format.
Right.
Okay, the intent being to solicit from the public why they think we're wrong. The formal process requires, in order for the Board of Assessment Review to make a reasonable and rational determination, evidence why in writing. Okay? If you don't provide evidence, your odds of even getting anything other than thank you very much are slim.
So a vision appraisal is going to come to this office and make themselves available here.
They will make themselves available at 10 Pearl Street. It will be, we haven't worked out the exact schedule, but it will be several days and probably some evenings per week.
Okay.
Will they be able to meet people also in Rybrook and in Mamaroneck?
No, we're holding the meetings here.
All the meetings are
All
here?
the meetings will be held here.
Okay.
I will share with the public that last year I set up a meeting with Vision just to meet with them, and they were very accommodating as far as timing when I got that first letter. What you can expect to do is just come and talk to them. They're really not going to give you, they're going to be good listeners, and that's what they did for me. A house next door to me had sold. I just had some questions, and they allowed me to talk to them, and nothing really came of it, but they were very open to talking with me and listening to what I had to say, and it made me more comfortable with my final tax bill because I did feel like they had the paperwork in front of them, and they were very available. So I encourage you to come and talk to them.
Wonderful. Thank you, Councilwoman Collins. Okay, thank you, Mr. Marcus, for this effort, and we'll see if we can't get you rated number one in the state.
Okay, we're on.
Another group who wants to be number one in the state is our finance department. Anything from you, Mr. Byrnes?
But, I'm sorry, Mr. Byrnes, should we be discussing bonding?
It's on for next month.
Okay. It's on for next month, but let's just get an update.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be on for next month. We're looking at the timetable for the bridge with Mamaroneck, and it's about $1.7 million. And we're also going to be discussing the other capital projects that are on the plate. So we'll provide something for next month's meeting.
Very good. Thank you.
Oh, before you go, where are we with our collections?
Well, I mean, the in-rems.
Well, yeah.
We're in good shape, actually. We're down to, I think, one property owner who has not paid, and I've made a motion returnable April 13th for summary judgment to get the property. That's the one in Mamaroneck, the toll gate. But the other person reached out to me and called Mr. Mecca, got a payoff, so she's, I think, paying this week. I think that's the plan. So
Great.
we did very well.
Beautiful.
99% compliance rate there.
There you go. That's what I like to hear. All right, number one in the state, too. Mr. Mecca, I know, is already number one in the state. Mr. Mecca?
He's being honored this week.
Yes, actually. Would you...
Right? Okay, as long as you know it.
It fixed my hip, but they didn't do much for my knees. Honorable Supervisor Carvin and members of the Town Council, I was hoping to have some figures for you this evening, but we are just now running the extract. We began it this afternoon, so it'll be a few days. But I did want to remind the public that this is the county and town bill. Can you see this, Tom? This will be in the mail. Unfortunately, the timing is like the same of the notice from the assessment office around April 1st. And this really is the first time that people see last year's assessed value, which generates this year's taxes. And the phone calls we get are off the wall.
All right.
I just got a notice saying my house is worth this and you're billing me on that. But we do the best to handle it. But I just wanted everyone to study the bill. If you don't get a bill because you have a mortgage company, contact us. We can either cut a new one and you pick it up, or we'll mail it to you, email it to you, whatever. But the center column, they're going to see something that hasn't been seen in many, many years. Both the county and the town of Rye will have a percentage of reduction in the levies, in the total levy. So that'll be in there. There's the total levies. These bills are very informative if you just take a few minutes and study them and read them. The back gives you all the information as to what the rates are if you're late, the percentages that it's going to cost you, which can get very steep, and also information If you need something from the assessment office regarding an exemption, it explains basically what's available, and to contact them and discuss it with them. Okay, any questions? As I said, if you have a mortgage and we still would like to see your bill, just give us a yell, okay?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mecca.
Okay.
Now, also, before Goldie was mentioning you're going to be honored this Saturday night. Could you just remind us, if you don't mind?
Holy Rosary School, I started the Alumni Association at Holy Rosary School, and hard to believe it's 17 years old.
Wow.
But this coming Saturday, Corpus Christi and Holy Rosary School are honoring one of the assistant priests up at the school, Father John Graziano, for being there for 26 years, and they're honoring me for close to 50 years of service at Holy Rosary.
That's wonderful. Well,
I
thank you
started
so
at
much for your
church when I was
service.
6 years old.
What time is that?
Mass is at 5 o'clock, and dinner begins at 6.
And is it too late to get tickets, or can we still get tickets?
There's still some.
Oh, beautiful.
The funds raised will go to the school.
Oh, wonderful.
So, because we're trying, it's an event honoring Father Peter Rinaldi, which is very close to becoming a blessed, and we're trying to keep the school open.
Yeah.
To the best of our ability. It's tough.
Is that right? Is it still tough?
So, okay,
Even
thank you.
after the merger is tough? Even after the merger with
Still
others?
tough, yes, still very tough. Because the public schools are free, basically.
Right.
This has tuition.
Right.
Then there's also some special uniforms and so forth and so on, so the money does mount up, but the education is great. So, okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Mr. DeCrescenzo.
Good evening, Supervisor and Board. Has everyone gone over the report?
Yeah, I think we've got it. I think just maybe
We're
quickly
going to
go
wait for
through
the
the
movie
highlights.
to come out.
What? Yeah, I think, I've been through it. I think if we're not getting bonded until next month. I think we probably should, is there anything to highlight other than what you put in here?
Well, basically, there was two other things that I wanted you to look at. We have the project on the South Barry Avenue Bridge over Guyon Creek, the sidewalk repair.
Yep.
The paperwork has gone to Bishop's office. That should be officially be going out to bid very shortly, and that small project should be done hopefully in May. And I've asked our consulting engineers to come next month to make a presentation on the Otter Creek Bridge, where we have that wing wall problem and some maintenance that has to be done that was cited in the state report. I wanted the board to be aware of what's going on that project and have him come and discuss it with you.
Is there any way to project how much our costs are going to be over the next 10 years for these bridges?
Well, it's very hard to say. The bridge over Otter Creek was a fairly new bridge, but we had all the storms and it washed away the wing wall. So, I don't know if we're going to have a storm in 6 months or, 16 years.
Right.
So it's very hard. But once the engineers are able to look at the problem, they can pretty much give you an idea of what's going to happen in the foreseeable future on these bridges without any acts of nature or storm, so to speak. And Councilman Aoris had discussed some things with me via email in reference to the report you had gotten last year in the Hillside Avenue Bridge. May or may not be through with its useful life, but as all the records that I've gone through up to this point have not mentioned anything about repairs or replacements other than the sidewalk work that was cited in the original report. So at this point, I'm going to keep looking and checking with the town and village records to see if there's anything that requires that bridge, which would be another major expense. Hopefully that won't come down the pipe for a while. Let's hope that bridge is still in good shape.
Beautiful.
Yeah, well, the issue there is that the original useful life of the bridge was 75 years. It was built in 1936, so it's beyond its original planned design useful life. So how much more useful life does it have? There's a certain number of repairs that you can extend the useful life. I don't know if you've been able to find any repair records on that bridge, but after a certain number of years, you have to replace it, not just repair it. And it's approaching that point where you may need to replace it. So we're trying to find any additional information about that bridge to see if it needs to be replaced, which would be an enormous expense. But the silver lining to that cloud is that that bridge is actually, the cost of that bridge is actually shared between the three municipalities, I
Yeah,
believe.
that's the town of Mamaroneck,
Town of
the
Mamaroneck.
village of Mamaroneck, and the town of Rye.
Right, so split three ways.
We talked last meeting about using our staff to clean up, to do some of the cleanup. Were we able to do that?
Well, they are going to do some of the repairs on the cemeteries. Any cleanup work is being done in the with our contractor.
Not with our staff? I thought we were going to utilize our staff to help
Well,
out.
they're going to work on the Continental Manor Bridge. There's some work that needs to be done in-house there, which their skills will be more appropriate there. Because the cleanups are going to start now. They're scheduled for next week to send our staff over to do stuff before we're going to send our contract people over there. Seems like counterproductive at this point.
Okay.
I think where Michelle was talking about is more than Councilwoman Mendocino is that if we have to do something outside of whatever's contracted, our staff should be able to go.
Exactly. I mean, there's a few times where we've had some large branches come down, and our staff has gone over there and removed them.
Yeah, that's what we were talking
Yes,
about.
that's done in-house.
That's the common occurrence, and obviously
Yeah.
we have a contracted vendor that will take care of the regular maintenance.
Right. They're going to do their spring cleanups now. Next week they're scheduled, and they have a report that they have to file with our offices.
Every week.
And then we go over it and make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. And we follow up with them. And then there's a bi-monthly maintenance program where they go there every couple of weeks to make sure everything is in order. And I've also, at the behest of Deputy Supervisor Villanova, I have contacted Donna March, who was in the Historical Society of the Village of Mamaroneck, and we've gone over some of the information about the cemeteries in order to maintain them properly. But we still haven't been able to find out who is responsible for the enclosure wall, the Gedney Solomon Gedney Cemetery. We're still working on it. I'm trying to dig up the records for that, and I had spoken to Mr. Markowitz about that also, and he's given me some direction on that also to find out who may be responsible.
All right, don't dig too deep.
Okay.
Beautiful. Okay. Great. Thank you, Mr. DeCrescenzo.
Okay.
Thank you. Great. Mr. DeLeo.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor and Town Council. From February 28th to March 20th, project report. My staff primed and painted the old chamber room on the second floor of Crawford Mansion. We also primed and painted the bridal room on the second floor of Crawford Mansion.
Thank you for this. Thank you for your report. I mean, we can see that. How's it coming along?
We're making progress.
Yeah? Are we almost finished, or are we...
Well, the next step is they're going to do that bathroom adjacent to the old chamber room, and then from there, the office where the big stairs are, coming from, downstairs, and then from there, the last thing will be the old vet's room, and then the whole entire floor will be all completed.
So how long do you think that'll take?
Mike and Ronnie are going to start working on that tomorrow. I would say in the next couple of weeks.
So by the end of the month we'll be finished?
We should hope so. The only thing is the vet's room is the worst of them all. It has to be, scraped and primed and painted and do some minor repairs. And then we should know from there. Anyway, we replaced some light ballasts here at 10 Pearl Street. We primed and painted the parking booth, interior and exterior at Right Town Park. Primed and painted the South Cashier's booth, interior and exterior. Inspected and replaced lighting in the administration building at Right Town Park. And currently in progress, we're working on the North Cashier's booth at Right Town Park, priming the inside and painting it, getting ready for the season.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Any questions?
Yeah, one other point. There was a support supporting the roof by that North Cashier's booth that wasn't fixed at the bottom. The pipe was actually had corroded away.
Yeah, I actually looked at it the other day, and when my staff comes back in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to either brace it to the concrete, or I'm going to replace it with something more stronger. So that's on my list.
Okay.
Because there's a couple of repairs I have to do in that area as well.
And what about the bathhouse roof? Did you?
The bathhouse roof, we got some pricing from Cabrera, some L&M Roofing. I get some crazy numbers from, to repair is like $6,000 or $5,500. The highest for replacement, the whole entire roof, we got a cost of $90,000. So we're getting, all these different numbers in. So we're going to, once we, touch base on a couple of more areas, and then I'll report back to you on that.
Wonderful. Any other questions for Mr. Leo?
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you, Mr. Leo. Okay, Councilwoman Collins.
I don't have too much to say, but I did want to take this opportunity just to thank the Rytown staff. I know I'm still sort of getting to know everybody, and everybody has just been very welcoming, and I've slowly been meeting with everybody during the day, during the weeks, and I just want to say thank you for making this transition so easy and making me feel so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman Collins, and thank you, staff. Councilwoman Mendocino.
How's looking for our report that was supposed to be back in March?
Which report's that?
The town report on the dissolution of the town.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, exactly. Good. Oh, thank you for reminding me. Very good, actually. The steering committee received a draft from CGR, the consultants. The draft talked about effectively what it would take to dissolve the town of Rye. Remember, the study's in two parts. One is studying the dissolution of the town, and the second part is looking at shared services amongst the villages. And so we have the new draft that's been reviewed with the steering committee, and so now I think we're waiting for the second part. When do they suppose? Another 3 weeks, I think, right?
45 days.
Yeah, 45 days for the second part. We'll have the full report, and then we'll sit down and discuss it at the steering committee level with the other commission members.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for reminding me. Councilman Yoris.
No comment.
Deputy Supervisor Villanova.
Okay, I just want to go back to, I want to make sure that maybe we can put something in place, and maybe a good letter signed by all the council members from the supervisor's office. I think that what we can do, Goldie, is we'll use the supervisor's office, okay, and in keeping with being attentive to the residents, we'll try to create a forum, bringing together the legislative representatives from the state and from the county. Obviously, it's not for our benefit. The benefit would be for you and your constituents. So, I think, Bishop, is that something we can try to do, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Excellent.
All right,
idea. Yep.
Goldie, and that's what we'll do. We'll give it enough time. We'll get the information to the villages and then to the organizations. Okay.
Excellent.
All right.
Good.
So that's good. I want to thank the board for some great progress we made on the Crawford Park policy. I think once we put in that last piece of the puzzle, a policy on municipal use. We'll be probably about 95% done with it, and going forward, it should be hopefully very seamless. And other than that, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Supervisor Villanova. I'd just like to thank the staff and the town board for all their hard work. We're making progress slowly but surely. I'm glad we finally got the Crawford Park usage policy in place, and then thank you, Councilwoman Mendocino, for reminding me about the town dissolution study, because it is an important endeavor, and I think that I'm very much looking forward to the final analysis, and when we put the two parts together, I think there might be some interesting solutions. So with the... Yep.
I just want to remind you, please come out for Nick Mecca's honorary.
Yes, actually, thank you. Thank you.
Come out.
Actually,
Saturday.
thank you.
At Corpus Christi.
And that's 6 o'clock, right? 6 o'clock, Nick?
I think 6 o'clock is the dinner, 5
Mass, okay.
is the mass.
So,
At Corpus Christi.
thank you so much, Goldie. I got to tell you, Goldie is a wonderful. If all our participants were as all our constituents were as participatory as Goldie, and thank you for reminding me. We all take great pride in the popularity. I mean, you think about tax collector. Yeah. Normally, they'd be the least popular person in the town, and ultimately, Mr. Mecca does us all a great service, and it makes us all very proud to be part of the town with his constituent services. Ultimately, somebody who is enormously well liked in the town, and we can't thank him enough for all his hard work. And this Saturday night, we have thank you for reminding me, we have a wonderful opportunity to go out and support Mr. Mecca at Corpus Christi. There's a mass at 5 p.m. and it will be followed by a dinner celebrating him and one of the priests at Corpus Christi. And obviously, these are great schools that we're looking, and all the proceeds will go to support the schools in Corpus Christi and Holy Rosary. And so, as I've seen the Holy Rosary Alumni Association, it's a very strong community organization that apparently Mr. Mecca founded. And I know, of course, Mr. Mecca, I don't know if everybody knows, he speaks fluent Spanish as well, so it's wonderful in our emerging community, Latino community, to have somebody who has that facility as well. So please come out and support Mr. Mecca Saturday night. De nada. Okay, and finally, we're going to go into executive session tonight.
Discuss personnel history.
Discuss personnel history. So if we could get a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and we will not be coming back.
We won't be coming back either. So this brings an end to the meeting. Thank you.
Who seconded? No.
Second it.
Okay.
Aye.
You did, right?